I wanted to jump into our friends from Canon, who have very kindly sent us another product for review.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this is, having had this product, we're one of the first people to get our hands on it, because this was sent to us pre-release. And it is a new camera. It's called the Canon Powershot V10. And as I said, Canon sent it to us. We had it for a few days. In fact, we took it with us to the South,
Wales and
Wales and West photography show. So we'll good play about with it there. And basically, this PowerShot V10 is basically a camera designed for vloggers.
Yeah.
Okay, but content creators
is what they prefer. They don't like the word vloggers, do they?
We call vloggers. That's right. It's been designed specifically. It takes video. That's what it's really for. But it also takes photos as well. And now it's a pretty nifty little bit of kit. Because when I saw the picture on the box, I didn't know what to expect. They just said, look, we're going to send this over to you guys. Do you fancy giving it a review? I said, yes, of course. I did. As I said, I was expecting something, that looked a little bit more like the traditional PowerShot range that they had.
Do you know what it reminded me of? And I know it's a little bit different. Do you remember those Sony camcorders that it was the digital tape ones before we started recording things onto smart movies? There's those sort of upright handheld ones with they said it reminded me a bit of that. I mean, it's smaller than that. Yeah. It just gave me that kind of vibe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's so just the look of it felt like quite cool, in that when it records, unlike a phone, if you're recording video, say for something like TikTok or Instagram, you're always recording your video in portrait. Whereas this is a landscape. The screen is actually landscape. Although it's a portable product, it's held sort of portably. It has a landscape screen to it, and that sort of takes you a little bit of time getting used to. But really, it's the correct way to shoot video, because you would normally always shoot video in landscape. It's holding it on phones. People are getting used to holding a phone up and shooting something in portrait mode. A little bit odd. But as I said, it's a real nifty little thing. Very, very lightweight. About the size of a size and width of a standard mobile phone, I guess. Something like that. Nice little screen on the back. But as I'm saying, it's been designed specifically for vloggers. Very lightweight. A really sort of different type of design. You can pop it into your pocket, and it sort of fits in snugly, and including that as well, it's got a little stand on it as well. So the good thing about this is that you can actually pop it down on a table, open the stand up, which is built in. It's not a separate attachment or anything. And then you can flip the screen round and you can film yourself and obviously see yourself on the screen that flips up. I was going to say, is it a little bit like a GoPro?
GoPros are incredibly wide angle, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think it has an optical zoom. Sorry, I can't remember if you said that already.
No, it's a focal length of 18mm for stills and 90mm for video. So no, it doesn't.
So it doesn't.
Okay, so it is a wide view, but you do need that wide view for vloggers. Generally, need a wide view on it. But it's quite. But
GoPros are almost fisheye, aren't they? I mean, they're really wide.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't know I don't think you can zoom in with GoPros, can you? But this one definitely is. It's got a fixed wide angle lens. The interesting thing about this, though, is it's compared to a GoPro, and I was surprised about this. It's not actually waterproof. But saying that, the GoPro is like an action type of camera, whereas
it is a different beast.
Isn't, so maybe it doesn't need to be waterproof. I mean, it probably is water resistant, I would guess, to a certain extent, but not necessarily, waterproof, as they were saying. So you can't go around throwing around in water and doing that sort of thing, or getting it covered in water. But it's got some really cool features with it. In one, as I said, in the way that it's actually held. But let's talk about. Let's go from the beginning, Mark. We're talking about the shape, and we're talking about the buttons and everything. I think the buttons on the camera, a little bit fiddly, because everything's so small. I think that's one thing. You have to sort of almost put your thumb or your nail into some of the to press some of the settings. And I think that's always the way, as things get smaller. We love them as things that are small as well, but at the same time they can be a little bit fiddly. But it's not full of buttons in the back. It's got the round dial right in the middle, and then it's got 4 buttons, 2 left and 2 on the right. And you can, one is the menu button, one is a playback. You got the record button on the front, which I think is quite handy. It's just underneath the lens, so you just put your hand around it, and if you want to record and you're filming yourself, you just press the button there. So the actual body is quite nice. The version that they sent us was in black. I don't know if they do it in any other colors at all. I know that we were recently sent, was it the R50 or something they sent us?
It was in white, wasn't it?
So and they sent it in white.
We reviewed that in a previous podcast,
and that took a little bit of getting used to just seeing it in white. But this was quite nice. The actual feel of holding it, very lightweight, is quite nice. Turning it on, the first thing that really sprung to mind was the face tracking, because I think it would already been programmed in or something, or whether it turns on the auto-facing face tracking. So if you're obviously filming and you're moving around with a camera, and you're, say, zooming in and out, or you're walking through a room, or you're outside and you're walking along a path or something, it's obviously focusing as you're walking along. And I thought that worked really quickly. And we were playing a little bit about, weren't we, with the face tracking autofocus?
Yes, we were.
And I think that worked. I thought that worked really well, because with vlogging, unless you're filming yourself, a lot of vlogging is all about moving fast, moving to the left, moving to the right, moving up or down, and there's this fast. A lot of people that work very, very quickly when they're vlogging. Very much like a phone, I would guess. You're going to use it in the same way that you would with a phone.
Well, I guess it's for those same sort of applications, isn't it? I mean, it's a piece of equipment that is akin to what a phone can do for you.
Yeah.
It probably does it in much better quality, by the way. And it's more of a professional kind of thing than what a phone does. But it is to replace, if you're a content creator, that is doing stuff for Instagram or anything along those lines, then this would be the next step up from using your phone, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, it does record high quality video, and I say that not hesitantly, because it depends what you want to get. I mean, there's no point in comparing this, say, with, let's say, Sony A7 III or something.
It's not broadcast like quality.
It's not.
It's social media quality, I'd say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
internet quality.
So what it's actually used for is more than good enough. So I'd looked at some other bits and pieces of other people that had filmed on it, and they were saying, well, look, the quality isn't as good as this camera. It's not as good as other cameras and whatever. But really, it depends what your final result wants to be. And this is about picking something up and using it, turning it on very quickly and using it without having to faff around with so many buttons. When I played around with it, I turned it on and off a few times, then put it onto one standard setting, and I was good to go in light conditions. Then moving out to daylight, it seemed to adjust the light very well. So for somebody who wants to use something that's very quick, very easy, quite basic to use, once you've got the standard settings in, then it's great. But saying that, I was able to set it to those standard settings because I've got a bit of background knowledge on what settings I wanted to put it on. If you're coming in as a complete beginner, yes, the menu can be a bit of a minefield, but you have to learn those things. But there are the sort of auto settings, as it were. But yeah, from sort of quality wise, I think it's really good. It shoots 4K, records for up to an hour, and also does 1080 60p full HD. So, and the other things, just reading from the list of things, it's got some inbuilt ND filters. Now, those of you that are familiar with ND filters, incredibly useful. When it gets too bright, too dark, you can just pop on your ND filter. And particularly when you're outside and it gets bright sunshine, you can just adjust that ND filter to, bring your exposure down to something that's correct without having to adjust any other settings in your camera.
Is it gradual? Is it gradual? Is it an ND grad? Or is it just plain?
I think it's got, from what I remember, 1, 2, 3 clicks on it. I think it had 3 clicks because we've not got the camera anymore. It had gone back, so I don't have it here actually to hand to hold. Charging wise, it's got the USB-C and the usual and the usual sort of Canon apps that go with it. Now, the other good thing about this is that you can live stream from it, and that's one of the things that they wanted to do and make it easy. And we've got to be honest, we struggled with that, didn't we?
We did. I think what it came down to was it was the general the reception phone reception of where we were wasn't very good. And in fact, because we were at the Wales and West show at the time, we actually went to Canon and asked them how what are we doing wrong? And you do it through your phone. You kind of connect it, Wi-Fi connection with your phone, and your phone uses the obviously the signal to then post wherever. However, if there is no phone signal, you cannot live stream. I think that's pretty obvious anyway. But yeah, that was an issue. We couldn't get the live stream to work because we wanted to do a little thing, didn't we? Whilst we were there, but yeah, we couldn't get out to work. Would have been I obviously, because you had the camera, I didn't take it home with me. I probably would have tried it from home. But did you manage to try it? Or
I did, but again, I needed to become more familiar with it, and it was one of those things when you actually sort of said to yourself, well, in actual fact, it's just much easier if I just do this on my phone, because a phone, you always know, you just set up good and ready to go with it. So there are a lot of people that would say, well, it doesn't really replace my phone. The phone's just easier to use. I wouldn't say
is it easier to use, or is it just that we're more familiar with it?
I was going to say exactly that. It's not that. It's just that we need to put it on the right settings and get familiar with that, as we do with a phone. We've all had to learn how to use a phone. That's one of the things that, and I think again that you'll have to learn how to set up and get familiar with all of the things that are within that menu. Then sort of going back to that menu, once you go into the menu and you press that round dial that you've got there, everything's in there, but it's all there to be explored. And it's about sort of going through it, setting it to the right settings and finding out that if you want to stream live, how can you do it? And you can connect it so that you can stream it through your phone as well. You can do all of that through the Canon app. And also it's worth bearing in mind that the apps that they have, they get more and more advanced as well. So you'll buy a camera, but they'll improve the software on it. So the good thing about these cameras is that as they actually get better with time, they improve. You're not stuck with it from sort of when you buy it. So
which is good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Overall, I think we said about picture quality was really good, but remember, really good for what it's intended to be used for. So I wouldn't say, all right, I'm going to go out and film a wedding, or I'm going to go out and do a little commercial job for it or something, because it's not built for that. So let's not try and compare it, with too much. It's got to be compared with like for like.
It's better than a phone. Yeah,
it is. Yes, it is better than a phone. It is better than a phone,
by
but only if you,
fair whack.
But only if you know what settings to use, and by experimenting and playing with it. With the phone, you sort of turn it on and you're almost good to go with a phone. And here you can do a lot more. You can get far more sort of creative with it as well. I think. And I think, cost wise, you've got to weigh that up. I mean, how much is your average phone?
Well, an iPhone is about, I don't know, £1,000. I think if you were to buy it out, it's probably over £1,000 if you're going to buy it outright. We generally do it on a phone contract, don't we? So it's £50 a month or whatever it is, including whatever data you've got. So it's hard to actually put into it. But yeah, I mean, but then a phone does a lot more than just shoot a video, I guess, doesn't it? So is it like for like? I don't know.
No, it's I mean, it's not like for like, because as you said, a phone does do a lot more. This is built specifically for a purpose. But I mean, it retails, there's two versions of it. The actual camera is the same in the two versions. It's just that what you get with it gives you like I think it's about sort of £430 to buy the actual basic camera kit. And that comes with the camera. It comes with the little stand, the built-in stand. And I think the built-in stand is really nifty. That's really cool.
I liked that.
And within the box, you get the power cable, you get the case, there's a lens cap, there's a windshield and wrist strap as well for it.
You get a case.
Yeah, you get it. Well, yeah. It's a soft case. Okay, so just like a little pouch, which is really good. Now, one thing I didn't say was the mics on the top, because I'd actually tried the sound. I thought the sound recording was really good, because from what I remember, it's got two little mics built at the top, so it gives you stereo sound, but it's also then gives you those little windshield things that you can put on. So if you go outside, okay, so I mean, it really is like two fluffy ears that you put on the side of it. But I thought that was really good.
It's a good little extra, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm laughing about the case. Back in the days, you sell a compact camera. I was working for Jessups. You never got a case with a camera. So the fact that it comes with a case how
Yeah.
things have changed.
Yeah, and so that's retailing at about $430 in the UK, and then the second option, as they call it, the advanced kit, that's priced at $460, and basically that comes with a cage. So it looks like Canon have got together with a company called Small Rig, and basically what it allows you to do, you can attach this this cage to your camera, and from there it's got all these little attachments where you can screw in a little ring light, an external microphone.
That's pretty cool.
So you can put all of these attachments. Now, I didn't have any of those attachments to actually screw into those things, but we were sent the advanced kit that was in there, but I didn't actually use it. I did have a look at it. I could see how it works very well.
So all in all,
two kit options, all in all, and this is what people want to know.
Is it a good bit of kit?
I think it looks really cool. I think that's the first thing. It does feel quite nice to the hands. What I would want to do is I would want to use it a lot more. I'm not going to explain this very well. I would really want to test it out, in sort of more extensively, putting it into different, using all the different modes, and then really doing a like for like comparison with my phone. And I've got a Samsung Flip, and I do believe that it's not so much the quality, because this is going to be better quality than the phone. I've got all these attachments on, I can do all of that. The only reason why I'm saying is it's ease of use. If I was to use my phone knowing that it was going to be easier, more immediate, I could pick it up and go. Is that more of a priority than quality?
Well, again, I think the issue there is what you're using it for. I think if you're this is quite a specialist piece of kit, really, isn't it? Because it is for a specific job, and that is content creating. Vlogging is essentially what it's for. But they don't like using that word. And if you're making money on doing that, and it doesn't have to be production quality, then yeah, I can understand why people would want to buy it. And actually, I would then understand why people would take the time to learn it. Yes, the phone might be easier, but you are getting a better quality of product, I guess. And the product is the video that you're selling on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. That is where people make their money. So I can see that. I don't think this camera is really directed at people like us. I'm gonna say, because that's not what we do primarily. It might be useful for some online marketing for our photography businesses, but that is where you might go, yeah, I'll just use the phone for that, because it's not something. It's not a product for us, is it?
No, it's not a product for us.
When I mean not a product for us, I don't mean the Canon product isn't for us. I mean it's not a product. If we were to use it, we wouldn't use it. Whatever footage that created, we wouldn't use that to sell to someone. That's not our product. That's what I mean. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. So my decision would be, or one of my decisions would be, is the ease of a phone better than rather than the quality of it? If I wasn't so fussed about the quality, I'd stick with the phone. If quality really mattered, and it was really important, then yes, I would go for that, hands down. And what I really like about it is the real sort of pros for me are the feel of it is really nice. It's got this really, really handy stand, a built-in stand, which is great. So you can just sit it down and record yourself. And also the screen at the back, which flips round. And also the final thing that I really like about it is that the screen is landscape. So you're not having to record, you're not holding a camera to record video in portrait mode. And I think that's the other thing. And that's traditionally what it is. And you know what? I think a lot of us are starting to get used to the idea, if we record video, record it on our phones, that we're holding it as portrait. Because I looked at it and I thought, oh, actually, that feels a bit odd. Looking at the screen, but it was a landscape screen, and which video is traditional landscape. So I think, but I do really like that as well. Great product. I think, it's for those of you that are vloggers out there, get hold of it, see if you can try it, give it a go, see if it's for you.
I think it's great to see Canon are doing something different. Okay.
Yeah.
And they are innovators. I think Sony are innovators, Canon are innovators. I don't think, and some of the other photography companies, one in particular, are particularly innovative in any way at all. And I love the fact that Canon are doing this just to break new ground, just to something different, a different design. They didn't send me one of their old ProShot, Sure Shot cameras, which is what I was expecting to actually get. They got me something that made me think, whoa, this looks pretty cool. What's this?
It's a new thing. I mean, I guess it's also an experimental thing.
Yeah.
I dare say they've done a lot of research on it, and they've done a lot of focus groups on it. Is this a product that people need? I guess it being the type of product, it might be a risky one. Will it or not? I don't know. But it is. I think it's a nice bit of kit. I think it's if it's something that will really help you, the kind of business that you're in, then it would be a good, worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
Like I say, I would be buying one because it's not the sort of tool I need.
Yeah.
And I don't imagine you're in the same boat.
Yeah.
But just by the way, just for those listeners who are thinking, what Sony camcorder was Mark talking about earlier? It was the DCR PC 100E. Look at
right. Okay.
It just reminded me of that.
But finally, just one final thing I want to say on Mark is I want to applaud Canon for that. I want to applaud Canon for doing this, for putting it through. And I'm not saying that because they send us products for review. Our products are as honest working. If you want technical reviews and something's far as a more technical in-depth review, then you find those online. Ours are for real photographers and vloggers, as it were, just actually in use. I'd certainly applaud Canon for trying something new, being bold, something unique with their design as well. And we love that as geeks. We always say we're geeks, aren't we? I think all photographers and videographers are Greeks. They love their tech and everything. So great, thumbs up certainly from me, Canon, on that. So
awesome stuff.
Good stuff.